right, hello again, back at the table here. Today we're going to be testing the Havalon knives. This is the Gymshockey Signature Series. This was pointed out to us because of their advertisement on the very bottom here. The extreme sharpness of the Havalon blade is completely unmatched. Well, we've been proving this for years, so this is something we had to, this is just talk, so we got to prove this to see if they're telling the truth. So first thing out of the box, I got one here. I just took it out of the plastic. Comes in a actually nifty little case. But this is kind of, I noticed, kind of like an old man style case. You got your warranty card. You got your places for your replacement scalpels. This has 2 blades on it. But I noticed that this is, I mean, out in the field, you'd have to take this on off. It has a belt clip, but the pouch is kind of like they found something else and modified it to use it. Doesn't look like it was truly designed for this. The next is, I'm looking at the belt pouch. Well, I didn't pull very hard, as you can see. If you've just seen that, what happened here. The Cordura is just pulled away from the seam. I wasn't manhandling, I didn't modify this, brand new. That's not good. I do have another one here, brand new, pulled out. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm not death gripping it, I'm just pulling. This one seems to be holding, so I don't know if that was just a fluke. All right, the first look at the Havalon Titan Pro is aluminum handle, plastic inserts, belt clip, and a lock that keeps the scalpel blade in. First thing I noticed is it's very square, very wide, and it's very aggressive. When I hold onto this knife, it leaves patterns in my hands, which I don't really like. There's other ways to do that. The next is the belt clip. I noticed it's carried tip down, but you can't put it anywhere else on the blade. Going to the blade, it's razor sharp. It's AUS 8 steel, so I believe that this is a Chinese AUS 8 steel. The next is the Scalpel Blade. It comes with 2 different types of scalpel blades. One's blunt, one's sharpened. Comes to a point, I should say. They're replaceable. And I tried to play with this to get this off safely without cutting myself. And I tell you what, it's not as user-friendly as you think. I got a pair of pliers here. So, yeah, that's a little scary. This doesn't really thrill me. I mean, I can understand our new disposable generation that think that's cool, but having a blade on there, I mean, if I'm going to carry the weight, I'd rather have a blade on there that's functional than have one that's not, or limited in its use. Well, that's my opinion for the Havalon, and now we're going to go on to the Cold Steel Fin Wolf. Now this has a polypropylene handle, very lightweight, much lighter than the Havalon. Has a little thicker blade, and something I noticed right off the bat is the Havalon has a shorter blade, but longer handle, a little bit longer handle. I would rather have the shorter handle than longer blade, so their blade to handle ratio is not that good. The handle overpowers the blade. So if I put these 2 side by side, you can see the difference in the blade, and you can see the difference in the handle here. And then, so the next thing is, this has a Triad Lock in it. As you know, toughest lock on the market. Belt clip, right or left-handed, so you can switch this right or left-handed. Made ambidextrous. And this is AUS 8A steel. This is from Japan. This is Japanese steel. This is not the Chinese equivalent of the AUS 8A. So a lot of people make that common mistake is When something says AUS 8 on it, they think it's 8A when it's not. This is the equivalent of this from China. So this is what this steel looks like here. They have the number on there for that. Next we have a Scandi Grain, and what that allows you to do is very easily sharpen this knife. You just lay this blade right on the stone, match the angle, and just go with the angle, and it's very easy. Instead of trying to get the cantle and holding it to the perfect angle that you need, it's very easy to sharpen. It's very popular, especially outdoor style edge. A lot of people really like this edge because of the ease of sharpening it, and it's long lasting. Because as you keep wearing this knife out and keep sharpening it, you'll keep moving that bevel back, and it'll last you a long, long, long time. And you keep that thickness of the blade in there to keep it more durable. So you can pry and twist and really put a lot of hard use on this knife. So that's just the visual inspection right now, and then we'll be going on to the testing next. All right. First, we're going to be doing the edge testing, and I just want to explain a little bit about what we have here. This is sheets of cardboard I have, and the cardboard is consistent. So in other words, when we buy it, I get it all in a lot, and it's pretty consistent, and it's abrasive. Cardboard has a lot of debris in it, and this is so I can have some control over this, because in the real world, if you're skinning a wild pig that's covered in mud, you can eat an edge off a knife really easy. Or depending on where you're at in the mud and the weather. Not every animal is nice and pristine, as clean as you see on the TV. You know, some of them have a lot of dirt on them, a lot of debris. So that's what we're going to do with here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to test the Havalon Titan Pro, and we're going to test their standard blade on the locking side of it, and then their replaceable Scalpel Blade. So we're going to start with their main blade. Hollow ground looks like. Remember, this is the AUS 8 blade. So first thing I want to do is to show you, and this is something you can do at home, is I'm going to cut this piece of paper just to show you that it's sharp. So we're going to keep going back to check the edge on this. All right, you ready? You can hear it's rough shaving. Up at the tip where I haven't really got, but back here where we start, it's rough shaving. You can see there's a spot on there now that doesn't want to start until I get towards the tip. So that's tearing. We're going to stop there because we're going to go on to cutting a 1/2 inch rope too to see where that goes there too. So now we're going to move on to the Scalpel Blade to see how that holds up. I just did 100 cuts with the main blade before it started to fade away back in the end where its starting point started to go. So now we're going to try this out. One of the things I notice is you have blade all the way back here, but the attachment is in the way. So if you try to cut anything, you'll be hitting that. So you have to actually work with just the front. So that's what I'm going to have to do. There it goes. So it's finally flattened its edge at, what is that, 80? 80 cuts. That's still not too bad for a thin scalpel blade. I mean, cardboard's pretty abrasive, so that's not too bad. Now we're gonna move on to the Fin Wolf. So I've got the cold steel Fin Wolf now. We're gonna test the edge on it just to show you, be all fair. Razor sharp, has the Scandi Grain. Still shaving, just getting the finer hairs off my arm. So now we're going to go on to the rope test and see how they compare. So we're not going to touch these blades up. We're going to keep them exactly the same and go on to the rope. All right, I have the Havalon Titan Pro here, and what I'm going to be doing is the 1/2-inch rope cut. For these smaller knives. We've already done 100 cuts with it on cardboard, and it got a little bit of a roll on the edge right here. So I'm gonna try to keep it right about in here, to keep it fair where it's not on the roll. And we're gonna see how this holds up. So this is a little more abrasive, and we're gonna see how this works. All right, that was 100 cuts. Right where I was doing it, it's not shaving sharp anymore. It's not cutting the hair, and it's just tearing the paper now. So pretty much at the end of it, right at that same spot I was using here, you can see my finger can run across it and I'm not being cut. So something I did notice though, man, this is rough on the hand. I mean, it looks like a tractor truck run over my hand. This pattern is just too aggressive. You see my fingertips, everything. I mean, it really, if you were working with this for hours, skinning a big elk or something, man, your hands would be tore up. So this is, doesn't feel good. All right, I have the Scalpel Blade out now. We're gonna try this out. Now, in the cardboard, it already, as you can see, went flat here. It won't cut into the paper. But up at the tip where we didn't hit the cardboard, it's getting into it. So we're still gonna try this out to see how it holds up cutting something abrasive. You're able to force that through there. That's pretty much it. And I'm afraid to put any more pressure than that, because I can feel the blade flexing. I noticed this knife is, the edge has gone dull. It's a Scalpel Blade, expected to not last as long. But it's a little unnerving knowing I have a blade that can actually pop off or break like that. See, I'm not putting that much, that wasn't that much pressure at all to do that. It's a little unnerving. It's something I personally would not like to have out in the field, knowing that it could break on me easily. For its strength, it has just as much weakness. So for having a thin replaceable blade that you think's all great is actually, to me, it's just as dangerous and not as useful as having an actual real blade in there. I'd rather resharpen the blade. All right, hold on guys. I'm gonna try some, never mind. So I'm able to defeat that by hand. That was unnerving. There it locked up a little, never mind. So I'm able to do that by my hand. That's pretty unnerving with a scalpel blade. I mean, that's scary. Well, we're gonna go on to spine wax. There's no need to test this side. All right, right now I have the Fin Wolf and we're gonna be doing the 100 rope cut test on this, 1/2-inch rope. So I'm going to do the same thing I did for the Havalon. So that's 100. So that's 100 cuts. And as you can see where I've been cutting, it's still cutting the paper, still rough shaving. You can see that come right off. All right, you guys know the drill. I've removed the edge and tip for safety, drilled a hole 4 inches from the pivot point. We've got 30 pounds of weight, and we're gonna put this on here at 30 pounds of torque for the spine whack test. So show you, still works. All right, 30 pounds of torque. Everybody ready? And that is a fail. Okay, let's just do that again one more time just to see. Be fair. Yeah, that's done. Just jumping right off with the shock. So now we're going to go to the fin wolf. All right, I have the fin wolf. This is the same exact fin wolf we are testing against the Havalons, what we did the cardboard cut and the rope cuts with. So we're going to put this in and do the spine wax. Now, unlike the Havalon that failed, I am going to do all the spine wax, 5 spine wax, and I'm going to do the 5 overstrikes. So this is going to go through a lot more abuse on the shock test before we go to the weight test. Edge has been taken off for safety, hole's been drilled through the handle, 30 pounds of weight, 30 pounds of torque, and we're going to go with the spine wax. That's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. Last one. And 5. All right, let's take that off and turn it around. All righty. There we go. It's already set at 30 pounds of torque. Blade is opens and close. This is simulate if you overstruck and hit right here. Let the momentum of the blade go. And here's number 1. Two. 3. 4. 5. I didn't notice it, but the cameraman got hit by a little piece of plastic from the handle here. I just want to point out that we're just as rough on our knives as we are our competitors' knives when we do this test. You know, this is 30 pounds on a heat-treated plate. This is gross abuse, and the knife's still working. And I'm not going to change this out. I'm going to use with this, like if my competitors did the same thing, they'd be going to the vice test too. So same for us. So just want to point that out, that you know, we want to be as fair as we can. All right, we have these locked up in the vise. I have the Havalon in this side here, and I have the Finn Wolf, and to show you that their locks are still working, we're going to start off with 45 pounds. Make sure that's in there. And as you can see, the Havalon did not pass the test. Didn't even hold 45 pounds. All right, to show you here, this is going all the way down. Now it locked back up, but see, it's done. It's failing where we call it catastrophic, where it means the blade will just slam all the way shut. So that's not good. So I'm gonna leave this one here, and we're gonna start adding more weight to the Finn Wolf. So we're up to 135. £135. I pretty much say that's a winner right there. As you can see, a knife sells in the world for about $40 I found on the internet, to one that competes for $65, and just, it's a little bit of wobble in it, but 135 pounds, and to go through all that abuse, it's a hell of a little knife.